I think it's time for us to get up and check these vehicles out. We gotta smash some glass as well. This is the part you've all been waiting for. They protect politicians, billionaires, and operatives in the shadows. Incas builds the most elite armored vehicles on the planet.
I'll spend a week with you, whether it's in the jungle, the desert, wherever. Let's go on patrols. We'll tag along, no matter how dangerous it is.
What's the craziest story you've heard from a client about why they needed an armored vehicle?
Protection against mines. It's a real threat in some places. You have mines, pipe bombs and whatnot, and some criminals use them. They use them against cars. Luckily, people can survive because the way we armor our vehicles.
Your job is to get out. You're not sitting there and having a sandwich while you're being, barraged by bullets from every direction.
Welcome back to another episode of Money Buys Happiness. Guys, we got a special episode today, as you can see from where we are and what's around us, okay? We got the boys from Incas here today. We got Arthur, Habib. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
How you
Nice
doing?
to see you.
We had a little workout before the pod.
Just a bit.
I'm still sweating.
We're still sweating, so give us a break. I want to get into the story, but before I do that, I got some questions because I'm seeing these cars. They're insane. They look crazy. They feel crazy. I was just in one. Incredible. Okay. Who actually would need an armored car nowadays?
It's really a wide gamut, wide spectrum of folks that are actually looking for these kinds of things.
Okay.
We typically work with the upper echelon of society, right? You're talking about all of the VIPs, all of the politicians, corporate heads. But lately in the last few years, even here locally, we're seeing quite an influx from just regular moms and pops that are looking to protect their family, that are looking to make sure that, their kids get to school. It's kind of A to Z. It's not just for celebrities. It's not just for the VIPs of the VIPs, as it might have been.
Which I was surprised about when we spoke about that. So why do you think that there is a rise in, your everyday person now getting an armored vehicle?
I mean, look around you.
Yeah.
The world is burning in a lot of places, right? Yeah. And all of that ends up kind of trickling down. We could be across the pond from a lot of it, but even here in our own backyard or wherever it is, folks are really concerned with their security nowadays when they're on the road.
What's the craziest threat one of your cars has protected someone from?
Look, there's obviously there's a little bit of privacy that goes into what we do and how we work with our clients. So there's only a certain amount of things that I can kind of disclose on that. I can tell you that our cars have successfully prevented presidential candidates from being assassinated. Our cars have been involved in various situations all over the world where very high value lives were at stake, ambushes. Again, assassination attempts, things like that. It's kind of commonplace for us. The truth of it is we don't always know, right? We don't always get that back channel from our clients.
True.
In terms of this happened or that happened.
Okay.
We just kind of get, hey, we need another car, and we kind of ask everybody's okay. Yeah, thankfully everybody survived, but let's throw an order in for another one.
Makes sense. If I want to, I got a Range Rover, all right? If I wanted to turn that into a tank, per se, give it to you guys and you guys turn it into a machine, what would that look like? And can I do it?
First thing I'll tell you is it's good. It's a good thing you said tank per se. We don't build tanks.
Yeah.
Right? Habib here, he's from our defense division. He knows a thing or two about tanks.
Mm-hmm.
He's Canadian military as well. So he's seen this stuff up close and personal. We don't build tanks, right? What we build is a capsule that'll get you out of harm's way, right?
Okay.
Tanks do more than that, right? So that's kind of a very good distinction to make. But to answer your question, your Range Rover, you drop it off in our facility. Couple weeks, we'll disassemble it down to its frame, completely to its bare frame, take all the harnesses, all of the interior components out. We'll weld on ballistic steel plates and ballistic glass, which we're gonna We're going to show you that in
can't
person
wait.
very soon.
I can't wait.
And put the thing back together as if nothing happened. And that's really the secret sauce. You know, when we pulled up today and you saw the car, the first thing I asked you was, can you tell that it's armored?
I couldn't.
Right? And that discreetness is really that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to flaunt that you're in a bulletproof car, because then folks on the road will be like, well, why does this guy need a bulletproof car? Maybe there's something in there that I want.
True.
Right? So, you know, that's definitely half the battle. But in terms of your Range Rover, any day of the week, we'll slot you into a production schedule and we'll get it done.
Just send the wire transfer.
Just send the
No
wire.
problem. I got you guys. What kind of questions would you, let's say I'm the customer. What kind of questions would you be asking me to figure out how you're armoring that vehicle in particular?
Yeah, there's a few things actually. You know, where do you live? Threat level.
Okay.
Threat level is the most important part.
Okay.
Right. Is it rifles that you know, people have? A lot of developing countries, you know, a lot of gangs, cartel. A lot of them have, you know, weapons, M16s, fours, etc., or higher. So in that case, you're going to need a level of protection accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And then in small urban cities, in developed countries, usually the most common threat is a handgun. So you could get slightly less, which is significantly less weight on the vehicle, less wear and tear.
Okay.
So it really depends.
Okay.
These are normally the questions we ask. And, you know, we've been in the business for a long time. It's not our first rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the country that they're in, we already, you know, we kind of know the threat level.
Okay.
Right?
And could a regular civilian buy one of these armored vehicles legally?
Absolutely. It's something that happens on a regular basis.
Okay.
You know, you'd be surprised, but it is something that it's possible, depending on, you know, the level of armor and what's installed on the vehicle. There's a few factors there, but 100%.
So
Yes.
anybody can do it.
Yeah, well, there is you know, we kind of walk through a little bit of a due diligence on our side to make sure that the vehicles are being, you know, sold to good actors,
True.
as it's called,
True.
right? But in theory, yes, it is available to the general public.
Okay. So let's say I'm driving around in my fully loaded now Range Rover. If someone shoots a rocket at me, am I safe?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a common misconception. You know, some rockets, RPG-7, for example, these things are made to penetrate, you know, 300 millimeters of steel.
True.
You don't have that on one of these. So, I mean, they're tanks. Watch out for these things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
So no.
The answer is no.
Not safe from the rockets.
We haven't figured out how to stop your Range Rover from rockets. We haven't figured that one out
And
yet.
I guess based on what you guys are telling me, I guess I can drive this as a daily.
I would hope that you yourself aren't in a situation where you need this as a daily,
True.
right? But the vehicles, again, depending on the level of armor,
Yeah.
depending on the add-ons that are kind of baked into it, if we do a kind of an urban grade level of armor, you won't even really feel the difference.
True.
But you know, this Escalade that we have behind us here, it's a little bit heavier armoring there. That's kind of rifle protection.
Yeah.
And you probably noticed, you know, while you were in it, there is a little bit of weight. There is a little bit of, it's a different feel to a standard,
Yep.
quote unquote, standard SUV. If you're fine with that and you need it as a daily, then 100% you could use it as a daily.
Even when I was shutting the door, it was
Oh, they're heavy.
it's a heavier door. Let's say, okay, still same example with my Range Rover. I give it to you guys. What's the lead time in order to complete the armoring on it?
We are a true manufacturer, right? We're not a pimp my ride kind of a shop where, you know, you just come in and, hey, I want an aquarium here and a PlayStation over there.
DJ set in the trunk.
Right.
Yep.
So it's, you know, we're a manufacturer. We have a production schedule. We have orders from governments all over the world that ensure that our production machine operates smoothly on an ongoing basis without a hiccup, right? You know, to bring in a civilian vehicle, we would slot you in, depending on the type of vehicle. It could take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for us to be able to get it back into your hands.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we white glove the whole thing as well. So it really depends on how little or much involvement you want to have in the process.
True.
We can come right to your front door, pick it up off your driveway, and deliver it back when it's ready with a bow on it.
Beautiful.
Right? So it really depends. And
Okay.
whether it's your vehicle or something, you know, that we purchased.
Would you say that this service is just for rich people, wealthy people?
Look, the cars cost money,
Mm-hmm.
right? Also, most of the vehicles that we build our entire portfolio are on the kind of higher tier in the car world, right? So it definitely does cost a few bucks, but you are protecting your life. So it's just like another insurance policy.
Like, what's your life worth to you?
You got it.
Pretty
You
much.
got it.
What do you think separates you guys from other companies that do similar services?
A few things. The first thing, to mention would be just the sheer width of our portfolio.
Okay.
Right. So we armor Toyota Camrys, but we also, armor Rolls-Royce Cullinans. The Incas Century we have parked outside.
Yep.
And that's not even the biggest kind of the largest scale vehicle we offer.
Okay.
So there's about 80 models, right?
Wow.
That we can work on, that we have designs for, that we have proven armored schematics for.
Okay.
Right. To be able to work on. So that's a little bit unique in the industry, just that sheer width. And the second thing is kind of our approach and the quality, right? We're a North American manufacturer. We operate, under North American standards, quality of care, due diligence, quality control, customer success, all of those, funky terms that we're kind of used to when we call the Apple store.
Yep.
And they say, hey, let me get you to our customer success, representative. We take a very much kind of in-depth approach with every single client and every single build. We make sure that the car does its job, not just when it leaves, but that it does its job for the foreseeable future.
Let's also not forget that, especially on the defense side, a lot of our staff has military and law enforcement experience. So when the design team does something, we also have product management, and we ensure that the products actually meet the expectations and the needs of the end user.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, if you want to put it as like designed for operators by operators, if you will.
Yes.
Which makes a big difference, because it's not just a mere sales guy saying, hey, I have this for you, which is a solution. It's saying, I've been in your shoes before, or I'm currently in your shoes. I understand what you go through. You need this or you don't need this.
Yes.
And that's the transparency that we work off of. It's not just about adding A, B, C, D, E, F, G to the menu and then take it.
Yeah.
I've told people before personally, like, yeah, you don't really need this for your operations based on your SOPs, based on et cetera, et cetera. So it's great because you can really see eye to eye with your client.
Of course. I think having that military background on your team is huge.
100%. I mean, when we bring a new model out of prototyping, out of engineering and research and development, Habib and his team fully suit up, and they jump in the car and they go take it out, and they figure out, hey, can I sit in this thing in full equipment with my helmet, with my vest, with all of my gear, and we do all of that kind of ergonomic checking,
of course,
right, to make sure that these vehicles actually work in the field. I mean, it looks great to us laymen's, just kind of pulling around here.
Yep.
But you have to make sure that it works.
Of course.
That it works to the most minute level, right?
I think that builds huge trust with the customer too, seeing that experience that you guys have on the military side.
I mean, it's all about continuous improvement.
Of course.
Continuous improvement. And every agency organization is different, even within the same country. They vary based on their environment, based on their SOPs. So even then, the more clients we talk to, the more we learn. We actually invite clients to give us input on their specific vehicles. We let them have a big say in the design process, because that's their vehicle.
True.
Right.
So transparency at a high level.
We also conduct tactical training and driver training.
Okay.
Actually, all kinds of training, but I'll focus more on the driving since we're talking about vehicles. So not only do we build the vehicle to your spec, but then we'll also do the whole training on how to drive it, how to maintain the vehicle.
Well, even the educational side of it. Like, hey, you just got this vehicle, but let me teach you how to use it now.
Absolutely.
That's great.
No, 100%.
So in terms of your portfolio, you mentioned even governments and celebrities, and what's it like working with those types of clients? And also like how you guys have been able to find success with these clients, because obviously they love working with you, they keep working with you. So what's that been like as well?
So I guess I'll divulge one of my biggest secrets. Having been a previous end user does definitely help. Like I said, when you speak to a client, let's say it's a special forces team.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I understand what you need because I've done similar things. So that's one, right? They see your credentials, it builds the trust. They understand that you understand. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Huge, yeah.
Secondly, I'll personally, or with my team, go spend time with the client in their area, no matter how dangerous it is. Wow. Understand what they need. Because sometimes they don't know, right? They haven't procured in decades due to bureaucracy or budgets or what. There's many reasons. But if it's been a while since they've procured a vehicle or they just haven't had luck in the procurement process, it's not uncommon for us to go there and say, okay, I'll spend a week with you.
Wow.
Whether it's in the jungle, the desert, wherever. Let's go on patrols. Let's we'll tag along. We won't get in the way, obviously, because we know what we're doing. But then I can get a first-hand or POV, if you will, a point of view of what they experience, and then I can make my recommendations accordingly. I'll give you an example. We went somewhere in Latin America. I was in the jungle in a red zone. I won't say where it is. Very dangerous place. It's all run by terroristas, as they call them. And during the patrols, we're driving on these roads, and I realized that they're on the edge of mountains, right? So the ambush spots were amazing. If you wanted to ambush someone, because you can ambush from the top and from the bottom. Your regular gun ports are on the sides, so these guys can't physically reach the threat.
Yeah.
So adjusting gun, small things like that. Having a turret where maybe they didn't necessarily think they needed a turret before, so you can engage higher ground.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, when you're going to spend time with them, is there 3-4 things that you're looking for at all times that will help you base your decision?
Absolutely. Terrain.
Okay.
Terrain is key. If you have a place where it rains a lot and the terrain's constantly changing, extremely heavy vehicles are no bueno, as they say down there, because heavy, you're going to get stuck in the mud. And then what's the threat level? So if the adversary has high enough ammunition, so it's like, what's that fine balance, that dance? So make sure the guys and the men and women are protected, but we're also not running into problems like getting stuck, flash flood or what have you. Do you need a snorkel? Do we need this and that? Maybe something as simple as an accessory, meaning like you recommend the use of a drone with the vehicle so then they can scout ahead and avoid ambush. There's so many variables.
Yeah.
It just depends. That's why I like to personally go.
And I'm starting to see the difference in your customer service probably compared to your competitors, where you're doing something like that. You're going to their home base saying, I'll kind of risk my life at the same time to help you build this vehicle.
We definitely have some stamps in our passports. Let's put it that way.
So at this point, you guys are worldwide.
Yes.
That's amazing.
We've been worldwide for the last, 3 decades now. So yeah, we're kind of every continent except Antarctica.
Yet.
Yet.
You're
right.
We'll get there.
The penguins are under control.
There you go.
But every continent besides Antarctica has seen an Incas vehicle on its road. And
being in the business, how have you noticed the demand changing, let's say, the last 5-10 years in these vehicles across the world?
Being global has its kind of benefits, and that is, in certain parts of the world, the demand can decrease, which is kind of a good thing in the sense that, safety is prevailing, and and folks are a little bit more calm.
Okay.
But there's always a kind of ebb and flow, and in another part of the world, demand triples in that same period. So, our bets are hedged, definitely in that regard. And overall demand has increased, though. I'm not going to come out here and say it hasn't. Overall, in the last 5 years, post-COVID, demand has increased for our products.
And you think demand across the board, even for something, let's say, armored at a small scale versus a large scale, like you're saying demand across the board?
Across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board. And, we're kind of in a little bit of a bubble here in North America, but outside of our bubble, civilian armored vehicles have been commonplace.
Yes.
For the last 3-4 decades.
Yes.
Where it's you're middle class and up and you need an armored vehicle.
Yes.
It's not for, private school kids only. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other parts of the world, it's definitely much more commonplace. It's just we're kind of slowly, it seems like, joining them.
Okay.
We've been spoiled.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's in the vehicles. Okay. What's actually inside the armored vehicle that makes it so strong?
First, you have the steel, ballistic steel.
Okay.
So the thickness of the steel varies based on the level of protection that you want. It could be anywhere from 4 to 8 millimeters, for example, maybe even 11 millimeters. And we use a specific hardness of steel, very hard steel, so that you can still bend it. You don't want to go too hard, or else you can't bend any of the steel, but also stop those rounds. And then you also have the ballistic glass. Again, the thickness ranges based on the armor level that that you have,
Okay.
and that's made to absorb around when it hits the window and stop it. And we just make sure that in between certain, let's say, door openings, you have steel in the door, steel in the panel. Now the door closes, but what do you do in between, right? Because a round can get through. So then we have to make sure there's something called an overlap, which is another piece of steel, so that it blocks those openings accordingly as well, and then you're protected inside.
So a lot of steel.
A lot of steel, a lot of glass.
So for example, this Escalade, how do you keep it looking like a normal Escalade and not like a complete tank that it actually is?
The steel goes inside the door panels, inside the actual vehicle. So it's between the OEM material, let's call it.
Okay.
And then the glass is replaced with the ballistic glass.
Okay.
And then we make adjustments to the door panels so it looks flush. And then we can wrap anything with high-grade material so that it all looks OEM. If you're talking about an Escalade or a Maybach, for example, you're going to use higher-grade material so it looks like it's factory.
Okay.
That's the one thing that really stands out, the work that we do. And then you're also going to do minor upgrades, right? So a door now, when you're adding steel and you're adding glass, you have a lot of weight. So eventually that door could sag.
Yep.
So you're going to upgrade the door, the door hinges, and they're going to be super heavy duty so that it'll sustain the weight of that door.
Okay.
And then it won't end up sagging. But more or less, the car looks completely OEM, so you can't tell. And that's the beauty of it.
I couldn't. And I think when people think armored vehicles, they think of like the one we have out front right now, right? Like a tank looking vehicle,
Yeah.
not something like this, which is crazy. Are you guys one of the only ones to kind of master it, where it looks like the same vehicle?
Look, there's, I don't know if we're one of the only ones. I can tell you that we're definitely at kind of the upper echelon of being able to produce these vehicles in a way to engineer them, I should say, first, before production. We have to fully understand that this is a feat of engineering first, right? All of our vehicles go through an entire R&D and engineering process, kind of down to the smallest, millimeter, to make sure that there are no gaps, first of all, in the armor, to make sure that everything is assembled in a way that it's, that it's deployable and that it can last for the foreseeable future and not kind of fall apart on you.
True.
Right? But that engineering gets baked into every single vehicle when a new model is released, and then we produce it, right? Then we have to manufacture this thing and put it together in a way that, again, is not overly obtrusive, that anything's been done to the car. I can tell you, I've seen other armored vehicles out in the wild, built by various manufacturers, also globally, and it really depends what the vehicle is designed to do. So if this Escalade is designed to get kids to school safely and drive through urban areas without attracting unwanted attention, I can tell you we're definitely the best at doing that.
Okay.
There are other armored vehicles out there in the wild that aren't taking kids to school.
Okay.
They're moving soldiers around. They're moving military personnel around. They're in the mud, in the jungle, in the sand. Whether a body panel lines up perfectly on that car kind of isn't so relevant.
Yeah.
Right? Those cars are purchased in bulk. They're
spray painted.
Yeah, they're spray painted, right? Just to kind of look the color that they need to look, and they get kicked out onto the field and do your job and save lives. So, and we build those as well, right? Although even those we definitely build at a higher level of quality than what we see out there, but it really depends on the job that the car is set out to do. There are levels to this thing, right? Not every armored vehicle is built the same. Not every armored vehicle is meant to do the same things.
Okay.
Right?
So let's say I have a luxury car, or someone watching has a luxury car and they want to get it armored. And the question they have is, will it still drive the same? Will it still feel the same? Will it still go as fast as my car usually does?
Well, yeah, I mean, the vehicles that we usually armor, they need to be vehicles that can sustain the weight and the work. So a vehicle like this behind me, for example, behind us, these can tow boats, they can tow trailers. So adding on the weight really doesn't make that much of a difference.
Okay.
And then additionally, the upgrades that we put in the vehicle also, allow the vehicle to sustain the weight. So you don't really notice too much of a difference.
What would you guys say is the biggest misconception about armored vehicles?
I mean, everyone's seen James Bond, right?
Of course.
When he's sitting there and he's with the lady in the car and they're just surrounded and just taking rounds Yeah, that is the biggest common misconception. There's no such thing as bulletproof. I hate that word. Arthur can tell you that.
Okay.
You know, bullet resistant, right? It's ballistic steel, ballistic glass, not bulletproof,
Okay.
because they absorb rounds and the steel deflects the rounds. There's no such thing as proof, but it's giving you the critical seconds to be able to get away.
Okay.
Right? You can't just sit there and say, okay, hey, I'm in the
start
car,
shooting me.
shoot, I'm in a bulletproof car. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Because eventually rounds will start penetrating the glass, right? There's only so many rounds that it's going to take.
Damn. So it's not okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I just to kind of echo that, it's not like when you see these movies, these Hollywood films, and you got the guy and the girl in the bulletproof car, and they're just having drinking a coffee while people are shooting at them. Yeah, like it will definitely stop enough rounds for you to be able to get out of harm's way. We install run flat devices on the wheels to make sure that even with a fully punctured tire, you're getting out of there. But your job is to get out.
Yes.
You're not sitting there and having a sandwich while you're being, barraged by bullets from every direction. Your job is still to leave, evade as fast and safely as possible.
Yeah, what we like to call in the military world or law enforcement world is get out of the kill zone.
Okay.
Right? You got to get out of there ASAP.
The kill zone.
Yeah.
Scary place to be.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how you guys are trying to make protection accessible for everyone, right? And I think a great example is you kind of brought it up with the mother driving her kids to school.
Right.
What if you are that mother and she's watching right now and she's looking into something like that? What would you tell her? And I guess what kind of vehicle would she be looking at that point?
I tell her to give us a call. That would definitely be the first thing I tell her. But it really depends on a few factors, right?
Okay.
Especially if we're looking at kind of a family product.
Okay.
The first thing would be seating capacity. Obviously, you need to figure out, how big you need this vehicle to be,
Okay.
how many humans it's designed to transport. The second thing would obviously be level of protection, I would say. As Habib mentioned earlier, that's a very kind of key understanding of what this end product will look like, right? Are you looking to stop rifles, handguns, baseball bats, crowbars? Hopefully in most, suburban kind of neighborhoods, if we're talking about taking kids to school in North America, we would recommend a handgun protection level.
Okay.
And then we could also kind of tweak the design a little bit to make the vehicle, that much closer to OEM, where it'll still do the job, but it doesn't have any of that overkill stuff.
Okay.
So, maybe it won't be a war zone ready armored vehicle, but it will do the job that family needs it to do.
Okay.
Right. So there are definitely options for that make it a lot more accessible.
Budget, another thing, budget.
Yeah, from a budgetary standpoint.
Yep.
From a timeline standpoint, and also as we mentioned earlier, full on armored vehicles require a certain maintenance approach.
True.
You have to take care of them a little bit differently, but there are ways that we can create a family grade vehicle that doesn't necessarily need all of that.
True.
Right, but it will still stop bullets.
Okay. And you guys have lightweight packages as well, right?
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm kind of alluding to is
let's talk
our
about these
lightweight
packages that you have, the lightweight packages, and let's say who are they for? Who would they be for?
So our lightweight packages essentially are for urban professionals, families, directors that aren't necessarily worried about AK-47s, but they're worried about guys on the corner with a crowbar or a baseball bat or a handgun, right? To be able to just move around the city and feel that they're protected, and not just feel, just actually be protected while they're on the road.
Yeah. So if someone's watching this, they might be thinking, okay, can I armor the car I currently have? Or would you say that there's certain cars that can be armored and certain that can't?
We have close to 80 models in our portfolio.
80 models.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they'd have to kind of pop open our website or give us a call.
Okay.
Let us know what they have. The car doesn't have any extreme mods on it. It's not all Fast and the Furious souped up with neon lights and all sorts of mufflers sticking out of every direction.
Yep.
We can probably work on it as long as it's nice, clean, with minimal mileage.
Okay.
We can get the work done, and as long as it's part of our portfolio, meaning it's a design that we've already R&D'd, engineered, and built.
Okay.
Right, in the past.
Okay. What's the most someone has ever spent on armoring a vehicle?
you know, as sexy of a question as that is,
Yep.
the answer isn't as much. I can tell you again, we're a manufacturer,
Yeah.
right? We operate off of kind of standard operating procedures, off of a set price list, right? Off of a set product
Yep.
kind of inventory, you know? So all of our stuff is more or less standardized. For the most part, we're just building these things on a daily basis, kind of in and out,
Okay.
based on a set price list, right?
Okay.
And I guess it also depends on the vehicle, right? Like we do some small customizations. Like I'm talking about the law enforcement or let's say the tactical side.
Okay.
Certain things will be, you know, different based on their needs, but it's a negligible price difference in the grand scheme of things.
Makes sense.
But I mean, we should note that we also have a civilian version of our APC,
Wow.
and that's quite a chunk of change. I mean, you can find it on YouTube now. It's not a secret anymore, but Manny Pacquiao has one. It's on YouTube. So that's
He's
probably
having some fun with that, or what?
That's probably one of the, you know, the higher price tags that we
Yeah.
got.
100%.
Yeah.
What's the craziest story you've heard from a client about why they needed an armored vehicle?
That's a good question. There's several examples. Just so I don't take up too much of your time, my favorite is protection against mines.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real threat in some places. You have mines, and whether it's a tactical operation or even a civilian use, explosives, right? Pipe bombs and whatnot, and some criminals use them. They use them against cars, and you know, luckily people can survive because the way we armor our vehicles, they can actually protect you against 2 times DM51 grenades. So, and then depending on the armor level, some of the tactical vehicles protect you against mines. And we've had groups, you know, hit mines and luckily survive. You know, obviously some minor scratches and whatnot to them, but they all survived in the vehicle. So these are things that, you know, feels good to know that.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. If you could only armor one type of vehicle for the rest of your careers, which one would it be and why? Let's start with you, Arthur.
I was gonna offer me and Habib to do like a 1, 2, 3 and say it.
Oh, I would love
You
that.
wanna do that? Yeah.
See if you guys have the same answer.
Yeah. Right. 1, 2, 3.
Land Cruiser. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, you know, again, you know, we're a global operation, right?
Yeah.
We work with kind of, you know, almost every country in the world, and the de facto standard for armored vehicles, for wheeled armored vehicles, is the Toyota Land Cruiser,
Yeah.
right? The 300 series, which unfortunately we're not getting in North America anymore, right? So the Land Cruisers we have here on the road are the 250 series.
Okay.
In other parts of the world, it's known as the Land Cruiser Prado,
Yeah.
right? But the full-on the legendary Toyota Land Cruiser is the de facto standard, and it's luxurious cousin, the Lexus LX600,
True.
right?
And why is the 300 not in North America?
We got to ask Toyota that.
Yeah.
True.
We
Okay.
got to ask Toyota that. So we have it in North America, but here it's dressed as a Lexus.
Okay.
Right? So the Lexus LX600 is the Toyota Land Cruiser 300.
Okay.
In other parts of the world, they have both. In some parts of the world, I should say, they have both. In some parts of the world, they just have the Toyota without the Lexus.
Okay.
Right? So this is it's a business decision by Toyota Motor Co.
Has there ever been a time where you thought this vehicle that you want us to make is even too extreme for us?
Well, yeah. I mean, nothing's too extreme for Incas, but the type of requests sometimes are, what's the word? You know, quite funny.
Unorthodox.
Right. Unorthodox, definitely
great word.
unorthodox. For example, you know, I want to deploy spike strips from or a smoke screen.
Wow.
You know, these things they're doable, but in our humble opinion, it can be quite extreme. I mean, you're playing Mario Kart now. It's
Yep.
you know, I'm not a fan.
Yep. Spike strips.
Oh man, like there's
These guys are in a video game.
well, that's the thing. Like you know, you watch a few movies, you get a couple ideas. Like let's call these guys, and you know, I want you know, stuff to deploy from the roof, and they're basically asking us for Transformers sometimes, right?
Of course.
So yeah, it's definitely.
All right. I think it's time for us to get up and check these vehicles out. We got to smash some glass as well. I'm
do it.
pumped.
Oh,
All right, guys,
wait.
this is the part you've all been waiting for. It's time. Let's get it. All right, it's time. Gentlemen, what are we looking at here? What do we got?
2025 Escalade.
But this thing isn't just any normal Escalade, right? You're going to show us around?
I'm gonna get you a knock on the window, just with your knuckle. How does that feel?
Wow.
Like a typical sound, right? It feels like a rock.
Feels like I didn't do anything. Dude, that's a heavy door.
Go ahead and roll the window down.
Oh, wow.
See that?
Dude, that's an inch, right?
So
More?
it's just it's about 40 millimeters or so. Just ballistic glass.
Okay.
Right? It's layers of glass and plastic. It's designed to absorb a round from the outside. Once the round hits the window kind of you'll notice that white bulge, and that's it absorbing the bullet. And last but not least, we have overlap system. This window is open, so we're never going to go ahead and close the door because you can crack the glass. So these are all the things that we train our clients to really understand.
All right, we got the trunk action here.
We have a bulkhead door or barn door. Again, this is made of steel and ballistic glass. From the outside, it just looks OEM. It doesn't look like anything's different about it. And the benefit is you're not putting strain on the gas pressure springs and the door. You can still operate the liftgate very, very easily.
You would never think, looking at it from the outside, that this is what it has inside.
Inside here, on the rim, there's something called a run flat device, which is a two-piece rim.
Okay.
Fits onto the rim, and then the tire goes on top. What it does is prevent you from driving on a flat tire if it's torn or shot out. And it allows you to get away. You know, you can drive 50 kilometers at 50 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
So you can still get away from the kill zone.
What else would I be able to add to a vehicle like this?
I mean, the most common is strobe light, sirens, and PA system. Lights, you know, goes without saying, self-explanatory. Some countries allow you to have police colored strobe lights. The PA system as well. You have, let's say, the oxygen supply system. The purpose of that is to supply, you know, up to 4 adults with oxygen for 2 minutes. You can drive through an area, there's tear gas, other types of gases and whatnot. So you pressurize the interior and then the gas can't get into the vehicle. You can also have a fire suppression system in the underbody, the wheels, but also the engine, also inside the vehicle.
And that's just stopping it from catching on fire?
Correct. Okay. As soon as a fire starts, it automatically deploys and puts the fire up.
What doesn't this thing do?
Not much.
Not much, right?
Not much that it can't do, that's for sure.
Come in here and check out how quiet it is in this vehicle right now. Get in here. This is peace. I feel like I'm in a locked-in music studio right now. It just got real quiet. I feel like I'm in a bank vault right now. Unreal though. Besides that, you wouldn't be able to tell that this is a fully armored vehicle. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go look at the next car. We got an absolute monster behind us right now. Probably my favorite vehicle I've ever seen. I'm probably gonna need to get one of these. Habib, what are we dealing with here?
This is called a Sentry APC. So this is a law enforcement or military vehicle, depending on the configuration.
And what is this used for?
So the purpose is to get operators to and from the X, or like an operation, safely.
Let's talk about some of the features, because it looks like this thing is fully decked out. Yeah. Let's start here, because I feel like there's some features here.
You got tow hooks, very important, because either you want to recover the vehicle or you're going to use it to recover another vehicle. Okay. So super important. You also have IR lights. That works with night vision. We also have cameras all around 360 degrees.
Parking this thing ain't easy.
I'll train you. Of course.
All right, side view here. What do we got here on the windows?
So these are something called the window mesh protector, and they're magnetic, so they're made to come off so you can clean the glass. And what they do is protect the glass from, you know, let's say there's a protest or you're in the middle of the wild, a dense forest or something. There's a door locking mechanism, and this prevents the door from closing, and all you do is punch it in, and then voila.
And what do we got over here?
External compartments. This should put tools and extra gear. Okay. You know, you don't want to clog up the inside of the vehicle, so it's very handy on the outside. Open it up. You can store quite a bit of gear in there.
How heavy is this vehicle? Because it looks like it weighs a lot.
Easily over 9,000 kilograms.
How about the wheels?
They're super heavy duty to sustain the weight of the vehicle, off-road, you know, all terrain, let's say. Inside, we still have run flat rings.
What are the main points that you try and cover when training someone on this?
Maneuverability. Okay. You know, you get a feel for how the vehicle maneuvers, but more importantly, getting used to the visibility.
In the back here, it kind of looks like we got another bank vault here, which I'm excited to open. Walk us through the back here.
This vehicle's quite high. It has high ground clearance, right? Okay. So we have a step that deploys, and we just open the door here. And again, we have a locking mechanism. So now you can walk up.
So you got about seats for 6 people back here?
Exactly, 3 and 3, then another 2 jump seats, and then you have the driver and co-driver seat.
I feel so safe right now.
You definitely are right now.
Get a nice look over so that you can communicate with the driver.
This is adjustable, actually. It goes up and down by pulling this. It is a hot day, right? So we'll just turn on the AC here, put on cold, and this will blow some nice cold air towards us because I am sweating.
So tell us what we got here in the front as well.
Ford F550.
Okay.
Right, heavy duty. So a kill switch is important because you can disable the battery and kill all power, and that way your battery doesn't drain. You can't come back in the morning and your battery's dead. All these accessories draw power, so you don't want your battery to die over time. We have automatic mirrors so that we can adjust based on the driver's height. And then right here, we have something called a blackout switch. So when I activate the blackout switch, all the lights in the vehicle, exterior and interior, are killed. And then we turn on the infrared front. When you turn these on, the infrared lights turn on, allowing you to use your night vision goggles. Okay. Or if you have a night vision camera installed as well, then you can, you're going in night mode where you can see them, but they can't see you.
I guess just a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, so this is the siren and PA system that you can put on. We have our strobe lights, okay, and then I can talk to, hey guys, police siren, stop that. And then low frequency, which other vehicles can hear despite if they have music on. That's the point of low frequency, so it's saying, hey, I'm coming, you need to get out of the way.
If I had that in my car, I would be abusing that. I gotta get my hands on one of these soon. Put it that way. We're about to hear the power that this baby has. Ready? Habib, give it to us, baby. Can I have it? Smash some glass?
Let's do it.
Smash some glass, boys. What are we about to do?
We're about to smash some ballistic glass.
I love it. We're about to smash this glass. Oh, damn. You give that a lot of power too.
As you can see on the inside, it's still completely soft, smooth.
Oh my God.
I've tested this glass and it survived 7 rounds before penetration. You try to get in.
It will not break.
I give up. I'm tired.
So let's say bullet-wise, how many bullets would it take?
In the testing process, so the official, global standard is 3 shots. And they shoot 1, 2, 3, and that's how they determine if it passes the test.
And is this the one that was on the Escalade? The same one?
Same exact type.
Same one. That's incredible. Damn. But if I was trying to rob someone, they're getting away fast. I just can't break it. You're trying to rob someone and you come across one of these windows, you would be so pissed off. Honestly, keep your wallet, keep your car, I'm out. Like even if I kept hitting this over and over, like the middle, it wouldn't matter.
The glass and plastic, you're not gonna get through with that.
All right, guys, that is a wrap. We just finished up with Incas. We had a great pod. We toured an Escalade. We toured a fucking tank, okay? And then we just broke a bunch of glass. Actually, we didn't break it. That was the thing, we did not break it. All right, guys, check the links below. Enjoy the episode. And as always, money buys happiness.